Welcome to the ADHD Women's Wellbeing podcast. I'm Kate Moore-Youssef and I'm a wellbeing and lifestyle coach, EFT practitioner, mum to 4 kids and passionate about helping more women to understand and accept their amazing ADHD brains. After speaking to many women just like me and probably you, I know there is a need for more health and lifestyle support for women newly diagnosed with ADHD. In these conversations, you'll learn from insightful guests, hear new findings and discover powerful perspectives and lifestyle tools to enable you to live your most fulfilled, calm and purposeful life wherever you are on your ADHD journey. Here's today's episode. So hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the ADHD Women's Wellbeing podcast. And today I'm bringing you a bonus solo episode to explain to you a little bit about the forthcoming episodes over the next few weeks. I've decided to basically combine a few episodes into more of a series and a series of something that I wanted to share with you that's deeply personal. And I kind of feel ready to go there now with you because I have been definitely on my own spiritual awakening journey for a really, really long time. And it's probably been the single most kind of permanent thing that's been going on in my life for well over a decade. I think probably my whole life, but I've been able to articulate it probably best over this past decade. And my spiritual journey, which I didn't even know it was a spiritual journey until relatively recently, has been pivotal for my own healing, my own trauma processing, really for me to be able to feel a lot more supported. And this has been going on way before, I found out about my own neurodivergence. And it's been one of those things that I've always come back and lent on and always tapped back into when I've needed to feel supported, I've needed answers, I've wanted to delve deeper into certain things. But what I want to bring to you over the next few weeks is an opportunity for you to look inwards, for you to maybe pause, breathe. And so some of the conversations that we'll be having will be around the chance to realign with our values, really kind of being more trauma informed over what we're processing, what was trauma, and how we're able to lean more into inner healing and start giving ourselves a bit more understanding and time to just, I would say, listen to ourselves and go within and really feel into what feels right in our body, as opposed to using our cerebral mind, which we're so used to rationalize and intellectualize. And I thought I would call this the ADHD Energetics and Spiritual Growth series. And I've combined these guests and these topics because as we hit a new year, I'm focusing much more on my spiritual energy, my boundaries, and how I want to show up in the future and really working on that future version of me. And I'm delighted to be able to bring these guests to you because they're so insightful, they're full of wisdom. And we talk about our inner wisdom and we talk about our spiritual sort of connection and intuition, and something that I feel is very connected with neurodivergence, that sometimes we feel it's hard to hear that inner voice and there's so much self-doubt. But actually, when we take a minute to pause and to just have some space, we're very in tune with our intuition and that sort of deep gut wisdom. So I wanted to introduce to you in this mini episode the guests that are going to be coming up and what we're going to be talking about. So my first guest is going to be Britton, and we are talking about how we can start shifting into that inner version of ourselves and align with who we want to be and show up with that future version of ourselves, and getting clear on what you want to get from life, asking for what you truly want and stepping into those powers of feeling and embodying that future version of you.
If I accepted all of me and recognized that I'd been given the perfect set of skills and uniqueness, how do I want to go out and use that in a world in a way that feels good?
Then we have Natalie Davis, And that's very much sort of talking about stepping out of the place of mental chaos and the heightened state of our nervous systems and finding a way to actually tune back into that inner voice and that knowing to guide us back to our intuition. And I feel so strongly about this because this is something that I've really struggled with for so many years. This lack of clarity and self-doubt and the fogginess and the muddiness of not being able to hear that inner voice, of knowing what I really want because of having such a busy mind and having so many different ideas, and waking up one morning and feeling like one type of person, the next morning feeling like a different person. And this is what I want to be able to share with you, is this guidance that we can tap into from within, that we're not going to get this sort of thunderbolt of like a psychic experience. Maybe some of us will, but this is more about creating quieter spaces, time for inner reflection and really listening within.
Your mind is the calculator, your intuition is the compass. It's that wise part of yourself. And for me, a lot of the journey of like awakening is about tuning into the voice, that softer voice, that wise part of us that knows.
And so we have another guest, a fantastic guest called Dr. Roby Mackay. And she actually is going to teach us a lot more about ADHD and intuition and why ADHD people are so intuitive and how to make the most out of it. And very often we've been masking this intuition, or we've not been able to hear it or tap into it or even see it. And so when we get more of an understanding of where our ADHD shows up, that inner noise, that inner restlessness that prevents us from going there and finding more alignment, it's like almost like opening a new door to us. And it can be it can almost feel like a bit of an awakening. And I definitely felt that. I'm still learning, I'm still growing into it, but my energy has definitely shifted, and I'm starting to learn how to project my energy so I can start stepping into that future version of who I want to be and how I want to show up and how I want to feel, and not obsessing about the how and the should and the need and the comparing, and having more trust and faith in my authentic voice, my truth, and learning to trust that what I feel and where I want to be led, it's okay and there's no right or wrong. And I think that's a really big pivotal moment in learning about ourselves and knowing that we have what it takes within us, that we are enough, and what we know right now, what we're doing right now is enough.
We have this capacity to just scan our environment and find those key pieces of information. And that's the path that we follow as we're following our intuition. And then because we have such fast processors, we can just move in the direction of those breadcrumbs and follow the breadcrumbs rather than being overwhelmed by the whole field of information.
And then we have Ebonie Allard. Now, Ebonie is a human design expert. She talks about body wisdom, that inner knowing coming from the gut-brain connection and dropping into this body intelligence and understanding about the difference between the masculine and the feminine energies. And this is not actually, what we think literally about masculine and feminine energies. This is more about the softness and expansion and more restrictive energies and hard energies and softer energies, and when we need to have more of a masculine energy and when we need to sort of soften and go into more of our feminine energy.
It's really about coming into a place of unity where each of us, regardless of sex or gender, gets to really look at what is happening inside of us with our own masculine and our own feminine and our own deflated or excesses or toxicity, and the really, really healthy expression of both our masculine and our feminine.
And so I will be sharing all these conversations with you, and I really hope that they will resonate. And this is a bigger part of where I want to be moving towards in 2024. This is a part of me that feels very aligned. And if you ever worked with me one-to-one or in any of my workshops or programs, you'll know that I always tap into this more spiritual, energetic side. And it's something that I feel like I'd like to develop more of. I'm much more curious about, and I plan on creating a program for the masses, so it's not going to be too expensive, to really help people step into more energetic alignment, to really kind of decipher and discover who they want to be showing up as opposed to setting goals and putting pressure on ourselves and doing more. It's more about like, how can we be more? How can we be more truthful, be more authentic, do less, soften, and be in more of an expansive, creative energy, so we can welcome in different opportunities. We can open ourselves up to new connections and ways of being and ways of thinking and different behavior patterns, and breaking cycles instead of perpetuating old cycles that are just not working for us anymore. And really using this opportunity to pause and reflect and release and let go of old beliefs and old conditionings and old stories that have been holding us back. So I want to be able to almost create some space for you so you're able to gather some of your own inner wisdom and listen to that guidance and the nourishment and the self-talk that perhaps has been really scary for you to listen to. But actually, when we create a bit of space, it's almost like in the winter when everything starts shedding and releasing, and the nature looks really stark, but actually what's going on beneath, what's going on in the soil, that the nutrients are nourishing and giving everything to the roots and to the seeds and the bulbs. And within a few months, things will start to grow. And that is kind of what I want to be doing for you guys this winter, is to give you this opportunity to go inwards, to release, to shed, and to really nourish your own foundation, so you're able to start seeing the blossoming and the blooming of the new version of you, and opening yourself up to new insights and revelations and reflections and information that perhaps you can interpret in a different way. So you're able to have new belief systems and new behavior patterns and new words and affirmations and ways of talking to yourself and belief systems and conditioning that sets you up for a more positive way of living. So removing the victim mindset of things will never work out for me and things are hard for me, and recognizing that and sending ourselves love and self-compassion, but actually being able to have this time for this inner fine-tuning is the way I'd like to see it, and see what's possible and see what new choices that we can be stepping into and what new choices that we can making moving forwards, and really working from a much deeper cellular energetic level of really changing what's going on deep within us, so we can ripple out and we can model to those around us. And those small changes, those incremental changes that I always talk about, are going to reap big rewards as we move into 2024. So keep an eye out on that. If you are interested, please go onto my website, which is adhdwomenswellbeing.co.uk. You're going to find a sign-up form. And if you just put your name and email address there, when I have created this program, which I hope will be from the end of January, you will get the first information. You'll get what it's all going to be about. But I'm hoping that it's going to be 45-minute teachings every 2 weeks for about 3 or 4 months, where you can just show up. There'll be accountability, there'll be community. You'll be able to take from it as you want. You'll be able to make those changes, those energetic shifts. I'm going to really be tapping into changing belief systems and really making you much more aware and observant as to how you speak to yourself, what you're saying internally, what is projecting outwards, and seeing if these small changes can help you create a new external world. So I'm delighted to bring to you these next 4 episodes of real change makers, but real soft, feminine energy creators who are going to help you see what is beyond right in front of you, the material, and start tapping into a bit more of the esoteric, the more mystical ways of looking at things, really being able to use the universe and the energy that we have within us to make these changes. And I see this all through an ADHD lens, this neurodivergent lens of knowing how difficult it can be with all this noise that we have within us and these self-sabotage tendencies and traits that can often sort of stop us in our tracks or tell us that we're not good enough or worthy enough, or move us into this sort of comparisonitis or RSD. And I'm going to really try and help navigate you so you can start thinking big. You can start visualizing a new future for 2024. So I really hope you enjoy this new series. And don't forget to go onto my website, adhdwomenswellbeing.co.uk, put your name down if you are interested in signing up for these fortnightly sessions where it'll be just some teachings, musings, energy shifts, some visualizations, practices, some practical writing techniques. And I really can't wait. I'm really excited. So take care, and I will speak to you all soon.